Our speaker tonight is going to be Mary Jo Greene, and she is from Made Greene, and her presentation is going to be the role of Texas native plants in the school garden programs, and we'll introduce her in just a moment. So Mary Jo leads the school garden committee at the Tarrant County Food Policy Council, working to support growing initiatives in communities throughout Tarrant County. Her credentials include certificates from the Royal Horticultural Society, certification from the Texas Organic Research Center, and recognition as a Tarrant County Master Composter. Mary Jo Greene's commitment to school gardening and community collaboration has made a lasting impact on education and sustainable initiatives in the North Texas region. In 2024, she won the Texas Children in Nature Individual Champion Award. Congratulations. An award nominated and voted upon by her industry peers. So here she has some good fun things for us to do tonight.
I do.
We'll get ready for a fun and enlightening look at how incorporating Texas native plants in our school garden programs can grow our minds and breed futures.
Yes.
Let's welcome Mary Jo.
Oh gosh, I've been told to stand still. That's going to be really tricky. And also microphone possibly not necessary because I'm quite loud. So anyway, thank you so much. My name is Mary Jo Greene and I'm the founder of Made Greene and School Garden Services, and we're based here in Fort Worth, but we deliver programming around the DFW, the Metroplex area. So yeah, I was so thrilled to be invited to come along and talk to you today, one about our school gardening programs, but how we incorporate Texas native planting into our programs, and just trying to make good stewards for the future, because like we've heard about the Tarrant Regional Water District, that kind of thing, we absolutely need to make a change and we need to do things as well. So anyway, so that's who I am, and I'm so pleased to be here. Ms. Fontaine, we'll move the slide, thank you. Okay, so here we are. So Made Greene School Garden Services, the four of us. Joey's here with us tonight too. And we do the full gamut of school garden education services. So anything from teaching out in school gardens to designing gardens. I think we're putting in about 3 gardens this fall, right the way through to writing curriculum, mentoring programs. We do a lot of professional development, getting into schools and helping school teachers. Teaching school teachers about how to incorporate it into their lessons and into their curriculum. So that's what we do, the whole gamut of school garden education services. Okay, here we go. So a little bit about me, very lovely introduced. Gonna let you into a little secret. I'm actually not from Texas. Okay. Oh, you must have picked up on that already. So yeah, so I came here about 10 years ago with my family from the United Kingdom, and where school gardening and just outdoor learning is really quite a part of day-to-day life, you know, and it really is a very incorporated part of the school education system. So I kind of arrived in Texas, all kind of like off the Mayflower with the family, and you know, off we went to the elementary school, and you know, and I was saying to my husband, I was going, oh my gosh, I bet you any money all the school garden volunteer positions have been filled. And he was looking at me going, oh bless, oh it's going to be a long, you know, like, and all the rest of it. So I got there to realize, you know, where are the school gardens and where's school garden programming and the outdoor education as well. We're kind of a nation of gardeners, you know, you know this, it's kind of chronic. It's a chronic kind of ailment that we suffer from in the United Kingdom with our school gardens and our outdoor spaces. So anyway, so I kind of came from that kind of background here to Fort Worth about 10 years ago, and thus started the journey in school gardens. Yeah, Royal Horticultural Society, I'm qualified, which sounds very fancy when you put the word royal in front of anything. So you might take that with you. So for the rest of the week, just throw royal in there and everyone's going to be very impressed. Okay, and I've also been part of an outdoor education committee in the UK since 1999. So yeah, we're still part of that committee that I still kind of like sit on back in the UK as well. And so started Made Greene School Garden Services in 2018, and pretty much around kind of COVID time, you know, it kind of happened, it was kind of a lot of interest before COVID, and then COVID came along, and then really as a response to COVID, there was so much interest in using the outdoors and outdoor spaces here, really, you know, to separate children, so children could go to school. So kind of accelerated our our purpose, if you like, or the interest in what we do during COVID. And then after that, luckily, our programming stayed, as did the interest in what we were doing as well. I also vice president of the North Texas School Garden Network, that is a non-profit that we're kind of on with a group of school garden educators over in Dallas. And also, I'm the school garden working chair for Community Gardens and Urban Agriculture, which is the Tarrant Area Food Policy Council. Yeah, and again, won the award, which was absolutely fantastic in 2024 as Texas Children in Nature Champions. So fantastic. Yeah, so as you can see, genuinely all about school gardening. If the school gardening, then I'm generally like in it. Want to hear about it? I just want to be part of it as well. So I think it is so incredibly important. I was educated with school gardening as part of my education. I come from a kind of, I come from an education system like that. My nephews, my mum, me, my nephews, they gardened in the same school garden. So that's 3 generations that are gardening in that garden. Kind of feel that you guys, maybe in your own family situations or friends, or even your own schooling, now we are seeing that generational gap. When we ask the kids at school now, they don't garden with their parents. They maybe have got some memories with their grandparents. They have some kind of, experience, if you like, with their grandparents, but that missing link is with that parents at the moment. We just don't garden like that. So we're finding that a lot of children's home garden, the gardens that they will pull back on those glorious memories, those kind of whimsical times that they had, are actually they're having those experiences at school, and that's what they take with them. So again, even more important, if you ask me, that we are incorporating and putting school gardens into schools and making outdoor learning part of the day as well. So in addition to being out in schools, I'm very, very lucky to have partnered with Ridgely Giving Garden. Could you move? Thank you very much. Here it is. So Ridgely Giving Garden, which is based over in Ridgely Christian Church, and it was previously the food bank learning garden, but since it's been taken back over by the garden committee, and Joey Hughes is the community garden manager over at there, and we were very lucky that we took on a quarter of that space, and we were able to develop an example of what a school garden can look like. So we hold a lot of training over there. We host a lot of kind of field trip or education, that kind of thing over there as well. So Joey, do you want to say a few things about, he doesn't. Joey is going to talk about Ridgely Giving Garden for a few minutes. Okay, Joe, stand still.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's the camera. All right, hello everybody, I'm Joey. I'm one of the garden managers at Ridgely Giving Garden. I also work with Mary Jo at several different Fort Worth ISD schools implementing school gardens. So Ridgely Giving Garden, just real quick, it's part of Ridgely Christian Church, just like Mary Jo said. Our main mission is to grow produce that is donated to 2 food pantries over on the west side of Fort Worth. So that's LBT Rise Community Center and West Aid Food Pantry. And so in our first year, last year, we did about 1,450 pounds of produce that was donated to those 2 pantries to communities in need. At this point in our second year, only in September, we're at 1,800 pounds. So we're really expanding and learning how to grow food better. Every week we're harvesting and donating. We haven't missed a week. And so this summer has been really awesome for us in that way. In addition to that, we're volunteer run. And so we have 2 volunteer days every single week, every Tuesday, and then alternating Thursday and Saturdays. And so those are open to the community. If you can make the drive, we'd love to have y'all. But a lot of it's going to be planting some stuff, which I think a lot of y'all probably love planting, a lot of harvesting, a lot of processing and donating produce to the community. We also have a very large compost area that's run by 2 master composters. And we partner with another organization called Compost Carpool that goes around neighborhoods. And also, I see some heads nodding. So they donate to us bi-weekly several hundred pounds of food scraps. So that's not going into the landfill, that's coming originally. We're turning it into healthy compost. And that's basically the only input that we put on our soil. So we're growing sustainably, regeneratively, in a responsible way, and using good irrigation practices as well. So heavily run volunteers, and then we also have a big education component. So we partner with Made Greene as well as many other organization. So 2 Fort Worth schools come out every single week. It's part of their curriculum. Boulevard Heights and Jane Justin. They send a cohort of high schoolers out, and they do a lot of career skills and a lot of like social skills learning, and just a lot of garden education learning as well. And so yeah, we're happy to work with Made Greene. Happy to be here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What times are your volunteer days, Joe?
So every Tuesday, and that's from 9 a.m. to 12 right now, and then Thursday, Saturdays.
12 to
Sorry?
9 to 12 on.
Yes, yeah, and that's on the Terranera Food Bank website. And so we can get that link to y'all too.
What vegetables do you grow?
Anything that grows well. So right now, it's summertime. Okra, sweet potatoes, tons of sweet potatoes right now. We don't do melons or squashes because people will take them. But we do a lot of leafy greens. So we're getting into the fall and winter. So we're going into collards, kale. We're about to do our turnips, radishes, carrots, a lot of spinach, a lot of cilantro, herbs. We did plant 8 new fruit trees. So we work with Giving Grove, which is part of North Texas.
Grow North Texas.
North Texas up in Dallas, yeah. So they donated 8 trees, so we're gonna have pears, plums, and apples in probably about 2-3 years.
What about Texas native plants?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
We need to talk, yeah. We have some.
We do,
We have
and
some.
because it's quite an established garden, so the garden's been there for at least 14 years now. There is a lot of really good established Texas natives there as well, but I really want to put in.
room to grow.
There's room.
There's room to
There's room
put.
for more native,
Yeah.
for sure,
Especially-
and especially in that area. Yeah, definitely. But we'll get a group of kids out to do that. We'll get a group of
We
interested
have
kids.
questions from the audience. Could you repeat it for the?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, so she was asking native plants. Do we have any native plants at the community garden? We do, but they're well established, but we still have a lot of space to plant more.
Yeah,
So Ruellia, Turk's cap, a lot of gray mist,
yeah.
some salvias.
Salvias.
I'm gonna let Mary Jo take over.
Yeah, we will definitely chat at the end. Okay, for sure. Yeah, that's it. So it's going to be one of the projects this year is getting kind of school kids into that space and re-establishing some Texas native demonstration spaces, really, particularly with monarchs as well. A monarch way station as well going to do that. So thank you so much. Okay, so who we work with, who Made Greene works with. So there's Ridgely Giving Garden over there, the Giving Grove, which is a charity that puts fruit trees in community gardens and also schools, which is fantastic. North Texas School Garden Network, the ISDs are there, Cook Children, Texas Health Community Home is one of the big partners that we work with, and we appreciate them. Kaboom, the playground, and also the Down Syndrome Partnership of North Texas. We put in a garden over there for their self-advocate and families. So yeah, so we're quite prolific. We work with a lot of people. We're small but mighty. I think you can say. Thank you.
Question
Yes. Oh yes.
is your company that's putting in gardens a
Yep.
nonprofit or a for-profit?
So Made Greene is a for-profit.
Uh-huh.
Is a for-profit, but I also work with part of a non-profit. So depending on funding, that kind of thing, we can work both kind of ways, really. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So North Texas School Garden Network, that's the non-profit. Made Greene is the for-profit. So okay, thank you. So yeah, just some numbers there for you. So this is this year. We've only been back at school a couple of weeks, and this is what we're tracking to do. Over 4,000 students that we'll see, and directly 80 educators, either at school garden programs or professional development, 54 school campuses, and I've just told Joey about another one today, and about 18 school districts as well, and grants, because that's so much fun, you know. Yeah, so we'll probably help with about 12 grants for various different programs and districts and things like that. So we do quite a good job of finding money for people too, because that really is the main problem that these programs face. Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So let's just put our mind to this, okay? What do all these have in common? They are all school gardens. So traditionally, you might be thinking about the one over there in the left with the raised beds, you know, this kind of thing, the in-ground planting, that kind of stuff. And that's nice. We love it if a school has that, but they genuinely don't. Quite a lot of the schools absolutely do not have that. So we kind of will work with the school, or schools will do whatever they can to have growing as part of their day or part of their school, or however they can manage it. So hydroponic is becoming very popular, especially with high school programs. You know, I've even, all these are schools that we work with. So all these photographs come from a program that I've had something to do with over the years. Milk carton jugs, just on a fence. You tell a kindergartner that that's not a garden, they will have words, they will have things to say about that. Okay, 5 gallon buckets. One school, they just didn't have the, you know, and that was it, the expertise. They drilled a few holes in the bottom of some 5 gallon buckets and grew some things. Okay, the one with the fabric bags there, that's Weatherford High School. Weatherford High School food science teacher, she wanted to grow something, somebody donated her some fabric bags and she grew a garden. You should see the garden now, it's amazing 3 years later. Okay, a growing tower. Every little kid, there's 40 children, end up with a little pocket in a growing tower. They have a garden. Okay, and also that's a straw bale garden that we did at one school. You know, we kind of composted down the middle of a straw bale and grew things as well, and then grew some potatoes. There's brassicas in there at the moment, but then we kind of like grew potatoes in other ones as well. So school gardens come in all shapes, all sizes, and it's very important that they fit the culture and the needs of what that school wants and what they can do, okay? Because that will determine sustainability and a long-lasting program. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the benefits of school gardens. I mean, you guys are all here on a Thursday night at 7 p.m. You guys like gardening, okay? You guys like plants. This is no surprise to you about the benefits of that. But really, you know, it's that hands-on learning for all classroom subjects that is so lacking now. I just find it more and more lacking as time goes on, you know. Children who garden, they get better test scores. It's proven. Okay, children are feeling happier after they go and they've been out in the garden. I think a lot of times teachers are very nervous. They think, oh, we let them outside, they're going to come back in, they're going to be climbing the walls and all the rest of it. Actually, the opposite happens. They come in, they're a lot more chill, a lot more kind of focused and ready to get back into it, we find. It's in that teamwork as well, you know, the collaboration, that problem solving. And for me, well, and also the University of Texas, the nutrition department, they did some studies about it. Children who garden more, children who garden eat more fruit and vegetables at school if they do it. And that's not necessarily the fruit and vegetables in the garden, just growing them makes them eat more, that they choose more fruit and vegetables that day. But for me, the thing that I notice the most and I enjoy the most is it really does teach patience and resilience and perseverance. It really does, because there's nothing more beating than trying to garden in North Texas sometimes, you know, with the weather and all that kind of thing. So, and kids just get on with it. I love it, you know. There's one school and we've been trying to grow carrots there for like nearly 2 years now. These kids are like, oh, yeah, but they're just, we're going to try again, we're going to try again. So that just that resilience and that perseverance that they have is somewhat lacking possibly in other areas of life, or you know, but we certainly garden is going to test people's patience for sure. And it's great. It's a great lesson to learn. So yeah, so thank you. Okay, so if I want to give you a little bit of data, because it all sounds absolutely wonderful. Mary Jo and Joey and Daniel too. Daniel's involved in school gardens too with Outreach, and we're out in these schools and it's wonderful and these kids are getting their hands dirty and all the rest of it. But the reality of school gardens here in North Texas is tricky, okay? School garden programs, say on the East Coast, on the West Coast, California, Portland, you know, those kind of like places on that kind of West Coast, so much more organized, if you like, so much more supported federally downward, state downward, that kind of thing. But in Texas here, we don't really get that level of support from the top down. So what we're finding is that school garden programs are generally being done by the schools themselves, or we've got lots of kind of independent, different organizations that are helping with school garden programs. And that's absolutely wonderful, but sustainability is a problem when you rely on a system or something like that. So there's just some statistics that came out of the University of Texas a garden report was done back in 2018, I think. And, you know, so, and it just shows if you have these things, these variables included in your school garden program, the likelihood of that garden program to thrive, and it's very telling. So admin support, if your school has that, because sometimes we do not get the admin support. Sometimes principals are like, you know, they've got test scores to deal with. They've got all, you know, big issues to deal with, you know, but if you have that support, your school garden program is 12 times more likely to thrive, because the average school garden in Texas only lasts 2 years. 2 years is it. You know, that's what we see. But if we're starting to think along these lines, then we're helping that sustainability of those programs. Okay, paid for, stipends for staff, those staff that are second grade teachers all day long, and then they take on this gardening. You know what gardening is like. It's big work, you know. You guys know. If you have that, it's 15 times more likely if you put a little bit of financial value on that teacher's effort and time. The other one is sorry, paid stipends. Oh my gosh, I left my sorry, I left my
School garden coordinators.
Okay, thank you. I left my real glasses in the car. Yeah, teacher training, 5 times more likely to survive. You know, tying in the curriculum, again, 5 times more likely to survive. And having, you know, that PTA support, a kind of committee that is behind that lonely garden teacher, you know what I mean? So that's it. I also heard there's been some PhD student working down at UT on new data, and I think it's actually more bleak than that. Sorry. Okay, yeah, way to bring it down, Mary Jo. But that's the reality of it. So organizations like yourself, the expertise and the knowledge that you have would be greatly received by a school garden program, because we're going to talk about that you can't have a school garden program without pollinators and without Texas natives, you know. So so all these little organizations can utterly help and support these school garden programs too. Okay, thank you. Alrighty, so let's talk about Texas natives and Texas natives in our programs. Okay, yeah, so you can't really have a school garden unless you're addressing this. It's kind of odd. It's like driving a car with the brakes on or something, or accelerating with brakes on. It just doesn't really work as well, and you're creating that ecosystem, you know, so you need those pollinators in as well. The one that we generally talk about Texas native plants about this time of year because it ties beautifully in with the monarch migration. Okay, I had a parent the other day that came and said to me, "What's a monarch?" And I was like, "What? It's a monarch." Apparently, I didn't know that's all these kids going, "Oh no, these are different. These are monarchs." Okay, like, oh no, it's monarch. Anyway, so the monarch migration. So so we definitely study that and we watch that as we are quite, you know, we are the corridor down I-35 almost as they go down to Mexico to overwinter and then turn around and head very sensibly to the summer back to Canada. What a good idea, or up north as well. So this is the great time to start talking about Texas natives, pollinators, and as our monarchs are coming through when we can actually see them as well. Definitely about watering. When we talk about watering, when watering comes up, which is a great part of our programming, Texas natives is the answer to a lot of the watering problems. The majority of schools do not have these fancy irrigation systems, or they sometimes quite even don't have water, you know, or if they do have water, it's quite likely during that school year that it will not work at some point. So having Texas natives is the perfect way to avoid things dying. Okay, and then we really are trying to just create skills for life and knowledge for life, because we got, you know, gardeners, we should know this stuff. We should absolutely, it's intuitive in children. We just need to let it out and, you know, just unlock that with them and getting their hands in the soil and just having this knowledge, because there is this gap of knowledge being passed on generation to generation. So we kind of, you know, it's our job to be out doing that, because we want good stewards. Okay, we need good stewardship. We need this environmental thought process and conservation thought from our children, because we just absolutely have to have that. Okay, so it's really important that we bring Texas natives in and we talk about that in our programs. And then really, you can talk about Texas natives with a math. We're going to do an exercise with math here, and we'll talk about math, how we do that. Art, social studies, the Native Americans, the medicinal values of Texas natives, all that kind of thing. English language arts, all of it. We can apply it all. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hussain. All right. So first one I want to, Joe's going to bring around a little thing, and this is one of the projects that we absolutely take part in every year, and it is the Symbolic Monarch Migration Project. Has anybody heard about it or taken part in it? You've done that, and it's absolutely wonderful. And it's and that's Bonnie Bray Elementary School that are based over in Riverside area here in Fort Worth, and that's their first grade class. And we did it with lots and lots of different schools, but that's the one here. And they really wanted to do it because they were interested in monarchs, but for US geography, okay? And so what you do is that you take this little butterfly, and you're getting one of them, and then each school, they draw it, they put where they're from, they put their school, and then it goes into a big envelope, and it follows the monarch as it goes down to Mexico. So we pop it in the post, we mail it, and it goes down. It goes down to a big kind of volunteer group down in Georgia, who then take it down to the Oyamel Fir forest, which is where the monarchs kind of like go when they winter as well. And it goes to the schools down there. So the schools open up these packets of these butterflies and things that came from Fort Worth and all the other parts of the United States, and they overwinter with them. Okay, so the kids down in Mexico look at all these schools, they look at the people, they might email, they might get in touch, that kind of thing as well, and it overwinters. And then what happens is kind of those monarch butterflies start to wake up, you know, they kind of come alive off the trees and start to think about heading back north, is that those monarch butterflies go back into an envelope and they head up to the school. Okay, so kind of March time, April, when we're seeing the monarchs come back, journeying north, is that they then arrive as an envelope to the school, and the school get a butterfly from somewhere else. So you guys have got one now. Where's yours from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, fantastic.
Ann Arbor.
And Ann Arbor, Michigan, fantastic. Anyway,
New Haven, Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut. Okay, lovely. And so it's so exciting. One mail coming to a school for a class. Seriously, come along. I mean, nobody gets mail anymore, let alone children. And that's actually fantastic. So there it is. That's at school there. They receive theirs at Bonnie Bray, and then they do a whole geography lesson. And that's how I learned my states of America. Looking at, you know, doing this with kids. I'm like, that's right, Kentucky. It was there. Like, there you go, I learned something, you know, that kind of thing. I'm like, you tell me where Wisconsin is, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, but it's just the most beautiful project to take part in. And what is really nice about it is that, you know, our children here in Fort Worth, they're seeing monarchs everywhere. They're seeing them when they're in the car. They're seeing them when they go to the store with their parents. They're seeing them when they go to soccer practice. They're kind of everywhere. And it's just wonderful to tie in the wider community, their wider geography and their wider living space, and just keeping it combined to school. Okay, so yeah, so that's one of the projects that we definitely take. And then not only we talk about milkweed when we talk about that, but we talk about pollinators, because these monarchs need to eat as they're doing these 60 miles per day as they're traveling north or traveling south as well. So we talk about the importance of pollinators, and then that leads us on to talking about the importance of Texas natives. If we're going to choose a pollinator, let's choose the right one. Okay, so thank you. That's the next one as well. So yeah, so I'd like to do this. You might hate it, I don't know, but we're going to try a tableau vivant. Okay, because don't invite a school teacher to a meeting and then do that as well. So we do this a lot. And so, for example, we might do this when we talk about plant needs, the need of plants. What do plants need to survive? And then the kids, you know, we want kids moving their bodies, okay? When we get outside in the garden, we want in a purposeful way. Joey's looking at me to say, yeah, no, we don't have Joey. We do, but in a purposeful way. So we get them to act out and create this tableau vivant. So maybe, I don't know, if you fancy doing that, do stand up. Oh gosh, Joey, stand up. Okay, Tanya will stand up. Okay, so
Tableau in front of the.
okay, so we don't have to do any kind of shadowing, we can just do it. So after 3, I'm going to say plants needs, and you are going to somehow represent with your body what a plant needs to survive, okay? Alrighty. Well, first of all, let's think, well, what does a plant need? What need to survive? What does a plant need, Joey?
Water.
Water, very good. Daniel? Air, thank you. Very good.
Oh, I was doing the water.
Water, love it. Okay, love it. Sun, love it. Okay, so you get the idea, okay? So after 3, you are going to represent what a plant needs to survive, okay? So after 3, 3, 2, 1, tableau. Water, there we go, there we go. Okay, very good.
Plants need piano playing.
Exactly. Okay, so everybody else, isn't that I want you all to take your camera, okay, tableau vivant, let's go and do it in your place, okay? Do your plant need, and everybody else is going to take a photograph. Oh my, you look fly. Okay, so take a photograph. So we do that. So thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so that's it. So we do that. So we get kind of kids thinking about what plants need, which leads us very nicely into what happens when plants don't get what they need. Okay, you're going to have trouble. Okay, and that can be anything from them dying to this increased pest pressure to it being very expensive. You know, fertilizers. That we can, depending on the age group, depending on how much time we've got with them, we can go very deep. We can keep it very simple as well. So that leads us on to talking about that. And then I want to just, I'm not going to make you guys do it, but the tableau vivant of when we ask them what the plants don't get what they need is brilliant. Okay, there's so much drama. No, this kind of thing. Anyway, I'm going to let you imagine that as well. So we talk about that. So if you want to kind of go on to the next slide as well. So yeah, so we'll do another activity with you guys. Believe me, it's as well, and it's how we talk about what the what Texas natives do better than a non-Texas native. Okay, and one of the properties that they have, their growing kind of ways, is that it makes them more ideal than not. Okay, so there we go. So their roots, these increasingly deep tap roots, and that is very visual for kids. Okay, I get quite a lot of my plants from Eco Blossom, and I saw that you got, and you know the forage pots are really long like this, aren't they? You know, compared to the regular forage pots, and the kids are like as well. And we do something else. We do a little exercise. So we've got. I'm going to talk to you about. Wow, so we do. Okay, so just our areas. So you want to connect on for me. Thank you so much. Okay, so we look at that. Okay, so depending again how much time we've got with each group, you know, the differentiation that we have to have with the kind of like different groups, how much time, they can do a lot of research around it. Okay, quite often when we're at a school, there is always something native that's growing, even if it's just frog fruit, it might just be horseherb that's growing, you know, the Turk's cap somewhere. So we've always got something that we can identify as a Texas native, but there'll be plenty of other things that are not native as well. So we can take a little look around as well. And then if they get the opportunity to go and research some of the plants, and we just keep it very to what they see day to day out and about in their lives. We don't get too fancy, we don't get too complicated. Every Texas kid knows a bluebonnet, and more often than not, they've seen a petunia, okay, in a hanging basket or something like that. And we can talk on a very basic level about that. We can then get into grasses and things like that, depending as well. But then they look at the root depth of those two things. And then that start to think about, wow, that's really long. Of having an incredibly long taproot. And we start along the lines of that. So we'd get them to measure out. So a little pack here, full paracord. They get either a Texas native and they have to measure out 8 feet. And then also the 18 feet, 18 inches or whatever next to it as well. And then they see, and then we get them quite often laying down and putting their arms up about how long it is and things like that. Would you like to have a go?
How did you manage to measure the roots of the bluebonnet without breaking them?
Well, I didn't. I didn't. This gentleman called Google, and he did. I don't know, but just, you know, 6 feet is reported to be. Apparently 6 feet is a bluebonnet, is the taproot of a bluebonnet.
Oh,
So, okay.
Just showing them.
She's just showing.
Plants.
So visually representing it. So what we're going to do is that we don't take out the taproot of the bonnet because it should I ever get to that kind of thing. So for example, Joe will be here. the kids, and this is math. Math is sometimes area perimeter is really tricky for fourth grade teachers to teach. In the garden, it's so simple, so simple. Raised beds, 8x4, 32, easy peasy, this kind of thing. So this is a great way to incorporate math, but also a little bit of an understanding about our Texas natives as well. So yeah, sometimes they have to convert 18 inches into centimeters too, which is the standard measurement that you use at school as well. So there we go. So they get a tape measure. So in groups, either in pairs or in groups, they then have to measure out how long the taproot of a blue bonnet it would be, so 6 feet. Sometimes we give them two tape measures too, so they do it as well. So there we go. Some other people should have a go. Do you fancy a go? Here we go. There you go. You want to have a go? You go over there. Okay, Joey.
What else happens about?
You measure around 6 feet. Lay on the floor, okay?
Yeah.
It's
only 60 inches.
it is. So you're gonna have to Joey. There we go. Here we go. What's that one? Okay, ladies, I'll do what's just that. Oh, sorry. And then tell them how to do it. Does
Yeah.
anybody like to have? Yeah. Here you go. There you go. Just start.
So.
No.
What's the saying? Okay. I'll go George. And so you're okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You know.
Lay it down, measure it, and cut it. Okay.
We're doing this.
Okay. Where would you like to start to go?
Using this check. Down your left hand.
See which lights so would you like to open? Good, you may, you have it.
You will need.
Okay.
There's something for it.
Speed.
And
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's a long problem. I do this, that long, it's all started right in my head.
pretty much that's what it is.
Did you manage this?
No, I just measured against myself.
Oh, it's just.
No.
That's really good, actually. Joey's done what a lot of Joey's done what a lot of the kids go. They go 4'11". So measure it against me, and then we'll just add some as well. It's really neat, actually, to watch how kids get around having to kind of use a tape measure. It's quite funny.
Yes.
5, so we need a little bit about.
What are the other ones? Okay, so
Let's see. See more.
so what's our I know. I do. I've got ones now. You know, it's like all. Yeah. Lots of them. So. Also from it notice sector yeah. Pretty right. Here she goes. Well, what's the next? Yeah, okay, how many fun? 8.
An exclamation exercise.
Okay. So great. Love kids do really fun things about what are 11, 5 so my feet.
We have running around with tape bank and string, showing physically how to handle the work. Find out.
Yeah,
Show the grip.
okay.
How long is that?
I wanted to say, all right, we were for a week done now, and for that one, you know, we like talking, oh, the rich shit. Yeah, those are the ones that are identified connected to the country. No, it wasn't about names. No, it's not fun. Yeah.
That's so great. Then when we, you know, how did you doing that? The new front thing.
Sure, was wow. On the whole,
It'll be the math.
same year, yeah.
Wow.
6 months,
Oh my God, fantastic. Awesome.
And it's a lot. It's
So do you know how long
Oh,
it
yeah.
takes?
Over. Yeah. How did it go? I will just take it. It's from people's.
But I did because blood.
Try to free.
Okay, oh, yeah.
Right.
Sam.
Well, it's about, now the same on there. Over capturing.
Natural thinking, I mean,
To make it all it's fun.
and
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, seems like why, watching a lot of this and making things happen, but tonight, and keys up to us.
yeah, no. I mean, some spells are gonna hear different, and I just showed you this, and then I just was it here and that's like weird. So, like I sort of yeah, I'm sorry. They get my idea. That it kind of found that pretty much for indulging us. And so thank you very much for indulging us in our exercise. It's just a bit of an idea about how we can incorporate it, because we have to incorporate it into the curriculum to be able to get any kind of time outside in schools, really. It's got to be somewhat aligned or, or showing that there's some kind of some educational component to it. So there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, and how about that? Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. That's the end of what I've got to say today and this evening. So we have a podcast, myself and my colleague Anne. We have quite a successful podcast about school gardening.
School garden.
And America. Absolutely. And also, we're rather big in Finland.
Yeah.
That's market everybody wants to crack, exactly. So yeah, anyway, but we have a school garden podcast where we talk about all things, genuinely all things school garden all day long. So if you want to listen to this a lot, you can with Anne as well, and that's my email there as well. So please just drop me a line anytime. We'd love to hear from you as well. And then on this presentation here, we've got a lot of edible education resources as well. So maybe they will share this presentation with you, and you've got a lot of links there if you want to any more kind of school gardening things, resources, information, organizations, that kind of thing. So yeah, so thank you very much, and thank you for playing with us tonight. What a lovely time. Okay. And again, thank you very much for taking an interest in school gardens. Oh yeah. I know, it's good fun. It's good fun. Maybe we have to interview you. Somebody has to be on the School Garden podcast from the Native Plant Society. Okay, okay. Yes, please, if you wouldn't mind, you by all means keep the little butterfly if you want to, but if you want to, please hand them back and we'll just use them in schools. Okay, thank you.
That's what I started.
Oh, so okay. Sorry, a question, yeah.
When you're talking about Texas native
Yeah.
plants in food gardens, have you ever conceived of a more permaculture view to mixed plantings with
Yeah.
Texas natives? Because this is the way I grow, which is, I'm mixing food crops with natives
Yeah.
because of the benefits of
Benefits.
having a native buddy next to
Correct.
it, holding water, shading off the terrible sun, etc.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. If we can, I think what we tend to find is that just to kind of move lots of groups around the garden kind of thing, things do get kind of pocketed together. So the monarch garden might get put together as a thing, pollinator gardens get put together and vegetable beds. But for sure, in each of the vegetable beds, we always try to have, like that permaculture kind of theory where you're interplanting with pollinator plants. And it's just beautiful too, and the relationship between them, keeping the pests down, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. I know. And it's quite funny though.
a lot of people don't like that. They don't like the aesthetic of it. You know what I mean? It's you've got to really sell that as a notion, you know, to schools sometimes and to the educators themselves. I mean, I'm very much not a growing a line kind of person, you know. That's probably you probably work that out. I know.
To have it look more like an English cottage garden,
Absolutely.
only you're substituting natives for some of the,
Exactly.
you know, when you've
Yeah.
got a foxglove, it's in the plantain family. It's the same as
Yeah.
it's the same as
agree.
our penstemon,
Yeah,
right? So
I agree.
it's got similar form factor and
Yeah.
gives you the similar.
Exactly. And do you think and we can always blame any kind of plant being in the wrong place on children? It's fantastic. Oh dear, kindergarten have been out. Look, there's these kind of things everywhere, kind of thing. So yeah, it's great. Yeah,
I'm sure to say that I can try to help with school gardeners.
right. Right.
And I find that what they want is they want us to do all the work
Mm,
and provide all the plants.
right.
So, you know, after a while, you go, okay, so what am I doing? You know, it's my garden and you know, you enjoy it, but no, it's never been a working with the person that's trying to volunteer and help.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I just think that you know, a lot of school garden programs are led, and the school garden lead on it is just incredibly busy. They're usually doing it in addition to a full-time job within the school. And I think that, you know, some guys like you come along and you're incredibly capable and very knowledgeable and all the rest of it. It's just too tempting, you know. I see it from I know. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. You know, Joey and I are quite often like, this is not my garden, this is not Joey's garden, you know, that kind of thing. But we get it. It's just that these teachers are their time is so committed to within every minute of the day almost. So unfortunately, that just tends to be the way that school gardens are. And I get it. I get the frustration on that side too. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I would have thought that discouraging.
Yeah.
Relationship,
Yeah.
on first dating or whatever, you just have to set appropriate boundaries
Yeah.
and expectations.
I think that's exactly right. You know.
Make sure that what you have to give is reasonable.
Yeah.
What they need and what they can.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that that really works well with about saying about how much time you can donate, you know. So if you can do a couple of hours a week, then that's what you do, you know. And then if it gets used up on that, then so be it. Like you're saying, it's you know, an agreement beforehand is a really good thing. And also about materials too. If you're able to provide plants, then great. If not, then you know, say so that they need to be sourced elsewhere or planted from seed, you know, that kind of thing. So I understand it both sides of it as well. But again, that really good chat at the beginning and that really good kind of, you know, MOU, like a memorandum of understanding or something like that is great to get things going. But when it works, it's so great, you know, it's so great. Honestly, the kids get so much out of it, you know, it's marvelous.
Because they're really into doing their volunteer hours at school garden.
Yeah, we do. We run the school garden program over at Alice Carlson, and their OLE is actually managed and kind of maintained by the Master Gardeners program. So we do work with them there too. Yeah, I think that they're very much. We're so grateful for the Master Gardener program about how they go out and they do a lot more maintenance than say the teaching, and that really is the salvation for a lot of school gardens actually, that they're prepared to go in and do that. So yeah, we do. We come across them quite often, and we're always incredibly grateful.
Do you have an Arlington school?
Yes, we do.
Which one?
We are just about, well, Joey just was there today actually at South Davis Elementary School and also at Crow Leadership Academy about 2 years ago. And put in a beautiful garden. It's very fabulous over there. And Jen Ruby is the teacher. She's the garden lead over there. She's doing a really great job. So at the moment, we're just with 2 schools over in Arlington. And it's great. Yeah, I'm starting, and again for us, it's about you know, the working relationship with the operations department, because the schools are not the teachers' backyards. You know, they come under very much that regulation and rules and things like that about the district. So you know, you've got to, again, that's another relationship that takes some time to develop too, and a two-way kind of frustration kind of thing starts. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, but yeah, we love being in Arlington. I enjoy the gardens in Arlington. Yes, yes.
Question,
Yeah.
Susan,
Oh, right.
they are asking, what is the, native species that seems to do best in the school setting? Particularly, because of hardiness and resilience of those plants being beautiful around native, non-sort.
Yeah, what I see is it just, yeah, improve, absolutely. I think, you know, oh yeah, what does really well in terms of young hands and lots of trampled feet, Texas native wise in school gardens? That was the question. And Turk's cat it just does, it's so brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Texas sage is incredible. It's kind of blooming around now as well, which is so nice to come back to. What else, Joey? They all seem to hold up really well, much better than anything else that's put in for sure. Pardon, sorry? Yeah, rock rose, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Lantana, that absolutely just keeps us in. And bee balm as well. That's bee balm. Yeah, they all seem to do really well, actually. And you know, and the kids, if they're kind of part of the school gardening cycle as well, they know that we collect a lot of seeds. So they know that those, you know, that we don't pick them as such. We let a lot of things go to seed, and we do a lot of things about seed saving, seed packets, gifting, that kind of thing. So they really enjoy seeing the full kind of plant life cycle of that. So the perennial are dying back and then coming back again as well. But really, bluebonnets are just so exciting for kids too. And just looking at bluebonnet seeds and collecting those as well. But yeah, and every year the kids think that they've gone, oh, that's it, they've all died. They're not going to always come back. The kids are so great. It's so great. But yeah, I think, you know, in terms of, you know, they do much better than the vegetables, that's for certain. Yeah. Yes.
What's another question?
Yeah. Right.
Stay there all winter and teach them about the insects, need a place to go, and you know, we wait for the seeds until the very last minute to collect them.
Yes, we do. And the majority of the times our school gardens are learning environments. So they do not look like the botanic gardens at all. They can look quite scruffy. They look very experimental, you know, and we do lots of side by side kind of things. So we may prune some down and leave some, you know, with the majority of the time life cycles are in every grade, you know, so watching life cycles and plant life cycles and things like that. So leaving plants all the time. Yeah, we do. But again, when you walk onto, you'll be like, what is going on there? And it'll be some fourth graders, amazing project. And we're all about that. So yeah, any other questions? So, yeah. Oh, great.
Any more questions? Anyone Zoom? No, that was it.
Yeah, well, thank you again. Honestly, thank you so much.